Welcome to the Raise Your Energy podcast. My name is Linda Lange and I'm your host and energy expert. This episode kind of needs a warning sticker. I'm going to be very open and honest with you today, and I'm going to tell you what kind of people I don't really like to have around in my life or even work with. And that might be quite a bit controversial, and that's my intention. So let's get started. In last week's episode, I shared with you about the people that I do actually work with and that I do like to work with. I shared with you a few success stories of my clients and some testimonials. And I described as well the people that generally come to me to work with me, and just describe to you the lovely people that I do have in my life and that like to come to me to learn how to change. So today I will be a little bit more controversial, and I will talk to you about the kind of people that I don't really like to work with or have in my life in general. And if someone like that still finds its way to me, which of course can always happen, I will make sure just to be very open, very authentic about what it actually takes to go through the program that I teach. And to be honest, that mostly scares them off anyway, and I don't normally hear from them again. And let me first of all do a brief disclaimer for you. If I trigger you, then take this as a message for you to look closer at why I triggered you or what made it trigger inside of you, what kind of feeling. I want you to take this as an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper of what is behind that, for you to actually have a chance to maybe even work on it. Maybe it's something that you would like to change about yourself or in your life. And then, of course, you can come and work with me to change it. So, what you can as well get out of this episode is inspiration to look closer at the people that are in your life. Do you have people in your life that you actually rather not want to have in your life anymore? And if so, why are they still in your life? What can you maybe do to not have them anymore in your life if you just don't want them there anymore, right? So be inspired to maybe look closer at your life and the people that surround you. And before I share with you the kind of people that I don't really like working with, let me clarify one thing. First of all, I don't really come across these kind of people anymore that much in my life. Most of the time, I give off a vibration. I live in an energy that does not really attract these kind of people anymore in my life. But it can always happen every now and then that I do come across them again. And while I talk about these kind of people that I mean, I will give you as well some hints on how I maybe went about in the past to not have them anymore in my life, or what you can actually do to stop having these kind of people in your life if you would like to change it. So just listen very closely to what I say about it and take the tips and the hints that I'm giving you here today to maybe make some changes in your life. Changes, of course, for the better. And then I want to clarify as well that this does not mean that people are generally like that, of how I describe them. It is not their true nature, and everyone can change. They are just not aware that they have these programs, these certain programs that they are running, and they have them in their subconscious mind. And they maybe have learned them when they were growing up, or they have acquired them over their adulthood. And they have just not realized yet that these programs that they're living, which I will describe to you just don't help them to live a happier and more peaceful and harmonious life. And what I really wish for is that they do wake up very soon and that they realize it. But not everybody will. And that's okay as well. They can live their lives exactly how they meant to live their lives. But that doesn't mean that I have to live with that kind of energy or with that kind of attitude. I'm all about protecting my energy for me to lead a happier life. And that means not having these kind of people around for me. In general, I would say as well that people must be already kind of woken up or starting to wake up to actually go through the program that I teach, to get as well the most benefit out of it. And to be honest, people that are still running these full programs and just don't realize what kind of life they're living would not really sign up for my program anyway. It would go against how they're living their lives. What I'm telling them in the program and what I want them to look at is actually something that they don't want to hear. And that's why they are probably not going to find me anyway or would ever be interested to sign up to one of my programs. Makes sense, right? Okay, so let's get finally started on that list that I promised you. In the first category, I call out people that want to give away responsibility for them to get better or for them to feel better. And they like to give away that responsibility to any kind of professionals. It could be a doctor, it could be a holistic practitioner, it could be a coach, a therapist. So what happens is that they think that going to visit one of these people helps them to fix everything or that particular thing in their lives. And then that's done. They're all ready to not have it anymore in their life. But what happens most of the times is that it will come back or something else comes back, and then they will just visit the same person again to fix that issue. So what happens is they never take responsibility for their own healing journey. They never look closer of behind the symptoms, what is actually behind it. And they are just not willing to change anything in their life to actually make them feel better or for them to get better. So really what they do is they give away the responsibility for their own well-being, for their own mental, physical, spiritual health to somebody else. And they say, you fix me. And in the long run, that just doesn't work. It will never fix the issues if they are not willing to do the work. So that is kind of my first category. People who love to go and see other people and give away their responsibility for their own health and well-being. In the second category, we find people that love to complain. They love to blame, judge, talk behind people's back, or make excuses. And this is just kind of another way of giving responsibility away, because with their complaining and their blaming and making excuses, they are just saying that somebody else, something else is responsible in my life for the way I feel. So the thing is that this is a behavior that gives off as well a very certain vibration and energy. And you know the saying that you get back what you put out there, right? So if you have, for example, lots of people like that in your life that love to complain, they like to make excuses, judge others, or blame others for everything that happens to them, then have a look at yourself. Do you do the same? And even if you don't think that you do the same, do you support that kind of energy by supporting their complaining or their blaming, or you go into their conversation of judging others or talking about people behind their back? So have a think about that. I know this is quite some tough love from me today, but nothing will ever change in that regards in your life if I sugarcoat this for you. If you don't want people like that around you in your life, then stop supporting them and fueling that kind of behavior. The next kind of people that I like to skip having in my program or around me in my life are the ones that know it all already. I would say that people who actually go through my program, they know actually already quite a lot about what I teach. But it's the way that the program teaches it and brings it all together for them. And that's actually what people keep telling me as well during the program. They have heard a lot of what I teach already in certain different ways from different teachers, or they read books. But it never really clicked for them until they heard it from me and until they went through the program with me. So if you imagine somebody who has this mentality of knowing it already, or I know that already, then they are just not going to listen. They're not going to give their full attention to the program, to the knowledge. And they are therefore as well not getting the most benefits out of it. I think that's pretty clear, right? And to be honest, I would then ask as well, why are you actually here? Why are you going through the program and spending your time, your money, your attention on this if you think you know it all already? And why are you actually here in the program if you can already fix your problems yourself because you say you know it already? You wouldn't have a need for it, right? I know, a little bit controversial, but I think you see my point. The thing is that we as humans actually have to listen to a certain information 7 to 10 times until we completely get it, until we are able to repeat it and actually teach it to somebody else. This has actually been researched. It's part of research in the area of change management, and advertisement actually uses it a lot. We need to hear something so many times, up to 10 times and sometimes even more, until it actually is properly wired in our brain. So listening or reading something once is actually not making it completely stored and reusable knowledge in our brain. And even if it is, what about actually applying it into your life? Change doesn't come from just having knowledge. You actually need to use it, and you have to do something and actually apply it into your life. Makes sense, right? And then the other thing is that quite often we have heard things before, but sometimes it's down to either the delivery of that message or the time you are currently in, the openness or the attitude or the development that you are currently in that makes that information click for you. Maybe it's even the teaching style of the teacher or the words that the other person uses that makes it finally make click inside of you, and you finally are getting it, and you can actually finally make that change in your life because you finally saw the bigger picture or saw the total picture. But for you to actually completely get it and have that aha moment or have that light bulb moment, you do have to be completely open for that knowledge to come in. So don't go into any kind of lessons or information and have that mentality, oh, I know that already, because it means that your brain is switching off and you're just not allowing this aha moment to come into your life. Okay? And the last kind of people that I rather not want to have around me are the ones that love to use any kind of situation to stroke their ego. And how does that show up? What they love is questioning everything just for the sake of questioning, instead of asking a question for their development or their understanding. And I have no problems being asked questions, but I think you know the kind of people that I'm talking about. You know, they love to take everything apart and keep asking questions so they can show off either how they know it already, how they know it better, or how great they are, or they want to lift up their ego by making the teacher or even other students or participants of the program look bad. And that is honestly not an energy that I like to be around. And I don't want that to be in my program for all of my other lovely clients. So that is just all in support of stroking their ego. And to be honest, our ego is our worst enemy when we actually truly want to change something in your life. So how was that for you? How do you feel right now? Did I trigger you because you think that I actually talked about you in one of my descriptions? Or maybe I triggered you because you have someone in your life that I've just described to you and you're actually not that happy that they are in your life. If I have triggered you in any kind of way, see it as a message to look closer at it. Reflect on it and try to find out why you've been triggered. You know, it wasn't my intention to do this, but I know this kind of information, this kind of content, of course, is highly triggering. So I was, in this instance, the messenger that pushed that little button inside of you, which means for you to look closer at it. Get it? Okay. So if I have not upset you too much through this episode, but I actually have inspired you to make some changes in your life, or to maybe just check out my program and what it's all about, then have a look underneath the video because you will find the link to the program there. And I would love to have you in my program and learn how to change. And with that, I thank you very much for watching, and I love you and leave you. Talk soon, and bye-bye.